Hey everybody, Pierre Quinn here, and I teach leaders how to courageously begin the journey to personal and professional transformation. And in this video, I want to talk to you about what it takes to be an effective leader. So let's go. Before we jump deeper into the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can be one of the first to know whenever I release new content. So what does it take to be an effective leader? If we're honest, we'll admit that conversations about leadership are both subjective and contextual. Gary Uckel, in his textbook, Leadership in Organizations, writes, because leadership has so many different meanings to people, some theorists question whether it is even useful as a scientific construct. Leadership means so many things to so many different people, and it's easy to have arguments about what makes one an effective leader. A quote by W.G. Bennis reads, "Always, it seems, the concept of leadership eludes us or turns up in another form to taunt us again with its slipperiness and its complexity. So we have invented an endless proliferation of terms to deal with it. And still the concept is not sufficiently defined." Long story short, away from all the doctoral language, try as hard as we can, we'll probably never agree on a core definition of leadership. Now, that being said, still recording this video, and as subjective as it might be, I'm still going to share with you 7 keys to being an effective leader. Okay, key number 1, effective leaders need vision. And vision is, paraphrasing a quote by Andy Stanley, vision is a picture of what could be, fueled by the passion that it should be. When individuals take up the helm of an organization, their responsibility is to take where the organization is and craft a picture of what it could look like in the future, and then build the passion around steering the organization in that direction. And here's the thing about visionary leadership. You don't have to cast a vision or develop a vision in isolation, but as a leader, it's your responsibility to keep pointing people toward the vision that is developed. Okay, another important element to leadership is what we call emotional intelligence. In fact, much of the literature around human resources argues that emotional intelligence, or your emotional quotient, is actually more impactful than your IQ or your intelligent quotient. I explain it this way. We spend a lot of time in higher education teaching people to be smart by themselves. It's your grade, it's your project, it's your internship. But then in the field of work, we take all of these smart people and want them to play in the sandbox together. And we wonder why they have such a difficult time. And most of it has to do with the fact that we have not taught people in much of our training and development how to have strong emotional understanding. Emotional intelligence is really based on 4 ideas. The first one is emotional awareness. And emotional awareness is the ability to understand your own emotions. One of the suggestions that I made in a previous video is asking you to look up emotional vocabulary words. When you look up emotional vocabulary, you realize you've been using the same 6 or 7 words to describe a full range of emotions that those 6 or 7 words never do justice to. So the first part is emotional awareness. The second part is emotional management. When you recognize how you feel, how can you guide and navigate those emotions so that they don't sabotage what you're trying to do as a leader? You go from emotional awareness to emotional management to social awareness. Social awareness is the ability not just to recognize your emotions, but to recognize the emotions that are displayed in other people, and how to navigate those emotions and to work through those emotions. And then the final part is what is called relationship management. Relationship management is all about cultivating connections with people with a healthy respect for the ups and downs of their emotional journey as well. In order to be an effective leader, you have to have good emotional intelligence. And if this is not something you're great at, it's a skill that you can learn. There are trainings and programs. I do a great workshop as it relates to emotional intelligence as well. Another factor in effective leadership is a clearly defined area of competence. That's right, a clearly defined area of competence. What are you good at? What's the thing that you can hang your hat on in an organization. The importance of a clearly defined area of competence is that you're also able to point out the areas in which you are not good, the areas in which you need support, you need guidance, and you need the insight from other people on your team. But you have to be clear about what you're good at, the areas in which you're competent, and the areas in which you need to grow and need help from other people. Another piece of effective leadership is all about flexibility. In this day and age, it's all about flexibility. Flexibility is so important. Times are constantly changing. Technology is steadily advancing, and people are trying the best they can to adjust to everything that's going on. If you want to be an effective leader in today's age, you have to be willing to be flexible. Another aspect of effective leadership has to do with personal development. Effective leaders take consistent strides for personal development. And that can come in a myriad of ways. What books are you reading? What exercise are you getting? What therapy or counseling are you going through? What are the ways that you continue to grow and stretch and improve? There is no way that you can call for the other leaders on your team and for your organization as a whole to improve if you, as a leader, are not placing an emphasis on your personal development and on your personal growth. Another aspect of effective leadership is transparency. Long past are the days of what we considered great man or great woman leadership. It seems when the times called for great man or great woman leadership, that these types of leaders could not afford to show many times any emotion. They had to be stern. They had to be matter of fact. They could not show you any flaws or any crinkles in their armor. If they did that, the thought was they were not good leaders. But in today's age, if a leader is not transparent, if a leader does not demonstrate their humanity, if a leader is not willing to connect and even admit when they make mistakes, then that person is not a good leader. In today's work context, people want to know that their leaders are relatable. And part of that is transparency. Now, no one is saying that you have to go and air all of your dirty laundry and all of your struggles and all of your mishaps and all of the silly things that you may happen to do from time to time. But what is important is to recognize when you need to show certain parts of yourself to the people that need to see it the most. The last thing I want to offer that's a key component to effective leadership is this idea of legacy. John Maxwell talks about this in his book, The 5 Levels of Leadership. And that 5th level of leadership that most people don't get to is where you've replaced yourself. And you replace yourself by pouring into someone else. How can you make sure that at least one person coming behind you has been mentored by you, has been taught by you, has been poured into by you, has been placed in a position to succeed by you? Legacy is not just what you do during your lifetime. Legacy is putting the people who are coming behind you in a great position to carry the work that you started. So if you want to be an effective leader in today's day and age, you need vision, you need emotional intelligence, you need a clear area of competence, you need flexibility, you need an emphasis on personal development, you need transparency, and you need to leave a legacy. So I recognize my definition of what it takes to be an effective leader might be a little bit different from yours. I love to hear how you answer the question. For you, what does it take to be an effective leader?